Most businesses today juggle a mix of different software tools, right? I mean, you got project management here, you got file storage there, you got email from one provider, you got video calls from another. I mean, sure, everything gets the job done, but wouldn't it be better to gather it all up in one place? Also, I mean, you know how the drill is. These software subscriptions rack up in costs pretty quickly. So I thought, well, there has to be a better way. So, over the past few months, I've been trying something a little different. A single suite built to handle pretty much everything a business might need, with all the apps designed to work together seamlessly. And that suite is called Zoho One. It includes 48 different apps covering everything from document editing to customer relationship management. And in this video, we'll take a closer look at how those apps actually perform in real-world use, and we're going to explain what each app does so you can decide whether Zoho One is worth it and what tools in the Zoho suite might work for your business. So let's get to it. Let me start with what I think is the foundation of any modern business. It is how teams actually work together. And in Zoho, that happens through their collaboration apps. Things like projects, sprints, connect, learn, team inbox, and meetings. I spent some time testing these across different team setups, and overall, they cover most of what you'd expect for modern collaboration while making everything feel pretty much tight and integrated in the Zoho ecosystem. Zoho Projects is the main project management tool. You get the usual Gantt charts, task dependencies, and resource planning, but what really stood out for me was how smoothly it connects to the rest of the suite. For example, when I moved one of my projects workflows into Zoho, the built-in time tracking automatically tied into Zoho Invoice, which completely streamlined my billing process. And there's also a client portal, which I really liked. External stakeholders can use it to check on progress without ever digging into internal details. Now, for agile teams, Zoho has sprints. It gives you Kanban boards, something that probably all of you know, sprint planning, and backlog management. You can link user stories directly to CRM opportunities or even support tickets, which means the context of a customer request doesn't get lost once it moves into development. And next up on our list is Zoho Connect, which is kind of like your company's internal social network and knowledge hub. And when I tested it with a distributed team around the world, it did a pretty good job of keeping that sense of, let's call it company culture alive. Things like announcements, discussions, and even shout outs for recognition if somebody did a very good job at a certain thing. Think like half Slack social side and half like traditional intranet. That's how I would probably describe it. Then there is Zoho Learn, which handles training and development. You can set up custom learning paths, track progress, and make onboarding a lot smoother. Sometimes you need in a very fast-growing company because you constantly hire new people, right? And I thought that was really cool because when I tested it to train new hires, the integration with Zoho People automatically updated their employee record and even triggered the next onboarding steps. Okay, Zoho Inbox is another useful tool. If your company has shared emails like support@company name or sales@company name, now this app helps manage them so nothing slips through the cracks. Multiple teammates can jump in and collaborate on a response while keeping a consistent brand voice, and since it's Zoho, these conversations link straight to CRM records or support tickets and keeping basically all the context in one place. And finally, there is Zoho Meeting, their video conferencing tool. And on the surface, it's similar to Zoom or Teams, but the standout feature is the integration. Recorded meetings don't just sit in a folder. They automatically get transcribed and attached to the right CRM opportunity or project update. Plus, if you run webinars, you can send automated follow-up emails based on who attended and who engaged, how engaged they were in your follow-up pipeline. All these collaboration tools connect with each other. A new sales opportunity can automatically spin up a project, trigger the right training for the team, and route client communications through Team Inbox. So everything stays linked together with essentially zero manual handoff. Once your team can collaborate effectively, the next step is, well, it's pretty obvious, right? You need the actual tools to create content. And that's where Zoho productivity apps come in, such as Zoho Writer, Sheet, Show, Sign, Notebook, and Volt. After putting together a ton of documents, spreadsheets, and presentations with them, I've got a pretty clear picture of what they do well and where they fall a little bit short. So let's start with Zoho Writer. It covers most document needs and actually goes beyond traditional word processors in some areas. So real-time editing shows each collaborator's cursor and changes instantly, and comments attach directly to specific sections of text, so discussions really stay contextual. And one feature that really surprised me was the engagement analytics. You can actually see how much time reviewers spend on different parts of the document, which is something Microsoft Word and Google Docs really doesn't offer, and this allows you to see if your team really works effectively or not. Okay, next up, Zoho Sheets. And you can see we have to really hurry up here in this video because we have a lot of ground to cover. If you want to know more about all these tools, we leave timestamps in the description box below so you can navigate to the tool that interests you the most. And also we leave you a 14-day free trial of Zoho when you click on the link below. And when you sign up, you support the channel, which allows me to do more of these kinds of videos. So thank you very much for that. Okay, Zoho Sheets. Multiple people can work at once. And you can even lock cells so nobody accidentally breaks a formula. So non-technical people can work with technical people in the same spreadsheet. It also comes with an AI assistant that can answer natural language questions about your data. All right. Next is Show. Zoho's presentation tool. It's designed for collaboration and remote work with real-time editing and even a broadcast mode. What I enjoyed during testing is that since it integrates with Zoho Meeting, you can present directly in a video call and it'll automatically record the sessions and even send out follow-up emails. Very useful. Okay, Zoho One also offers Zoho Sign. It is all about streamlining document signing. It maintains legal validity, it keeps audit trails, and the best part is you don't have to leave the ecosystem and you don't have to pay extra for something like DocuSign, right? So documents created in Writer, they can go straight into Sign, and once signed, they automatically file in the right project folder. For lightweight note-taking, you have Zoho Notebook. It offers multimedia support and sync across devices. It's really, I would say, fine for basic stuff like meeting notes or quick documentation, but it doesn't compete with more advanced tools like Notion or Obsidian. And where it shines is simple note-taking that ties neatly into all the other Zoho apps. And finally, there's Zoho Volt, which is all about password management and sensitive data. Instead of sharing credentials in spreadsheets, you get centralized, secure storage with access controls based on roles and projects. And testing this with a distributed team really cut down the security risk of scattered password sharing, worst of all, in some kind of open spreadsheet or whatever. So don't do that. Rather, get Zoho Volt. Teams also need a solid communication infrastructure to coordinate effectively, right? And that's where Zoho Communication comes into play, specifically Mail and Click. I've used both in daily business scenarios, and they bring, I would say, real strengths, along with a few limitations worth noting. Now, Zoho Mail delivers clean, ad-free business email with generous storage. It doesn't have some of the fancy features you'd see in Gmail or Outlook, so there's no smart compose unless you provide an open API key, which you can, but then obviously you get charged for those AI tokens that you're using in your emails, and there are no like ultra advanced filters. But what stood out during testing was how seamlessly it connects with other Zoho apps. For example, when a client emails about a project hiccup, that email doesn't just sit in your inbox. It automatically links to the correct CRM opportunity or even support ticket, and that means you keep full context without manually filing or switching apps. You can also convert an email directly into a task. You can sync meetings to your Zoho CRM calendar and even have attachments auto-uplinked to Zoho Work Drive, all from within the email app. Now, I tested this with a client support scenario. When someone sent a question about deliverables, right? The email instantly showed up in both CRM and their customer support app called Desk. That saved me from copying and pasting context and kept customer communication consistent across teams. Zoho One also offers Click, their chat platform. It feels a lot like Slack or Teams at first glance, with channels and threads, but the real power lies in its automation. During a project simulation, I mentioned a deadline in the chat, right? And Click automatically created a calendar event and assigned the related task, saving us from the typical post-meeting scramble, like who does what, when, where, right? And thanks to message actions, /commands, and bots, you can automate the whole thing. You can also set up Click schedulers, for example, sending out a weekly sales summary or health check report to your team every Monday without lifting a finger. And on top of that, Click integrates with Zoho Flow, so you can trigger messages based on activity and other tools, say a new comment in your issue tracker or task tool, so everyone stays informed in real time. With collaboration and productivity covered, the real test comes during sales. At the center of Zoho's sales tools is essentially Zoho CRM. It's probably also one of their most popular suites of solutions that they have. And this is their powerhouse, right? It helps you track leads, it helps you manage customer relations, and even automate follow-ups, as we mentioned before. But there's this thing. Not every business needs a full-on CRM, and that's why Zoho built Begin. Or Bijin? Or Bygin? Not quite sure. Think of it as a lighter or more streamlined version for startups or freelancers. It gives you pipelines and also contact management without the extra complexity. And also, if you were to purchase like a standard CRM, like HubSpot, for example, those get expensive pretty fast, racking up 4 figures a month easily with just a few contacts. Okay, and then there is Zoho Bookings. If your business runs on appointments, this is where scheduling gets handled. What I liked is how it integrates directly with the CRM, so appointments aren't like floating out separately. They actually tie back into your clients and into your CRM. So whether you're closing big deals or you're just starting out or running a service-based business, Zoho has a sales tool built to fit the way you work and how big your company is at any given time. Once you've got prospects in your sales pipeline, you need to nurture them effectively, right? Which is where Zoho's marketing ecosystem really starts to shine. The marketing category includes 11 different apps covering everything from email campaigns to event management. And after running multiple campaigns through the system, what struck me wasn't the individual apps themselves, but how they work together to eliminate the data that is usually scattered across my drives, and which drives me usually crazy to find all the different information, right? When I set up lead nurturing for a consulting firm, the marketing automation and campaign apps created basically what I would call a pretty sophisticated email sequence that automatically adjusted based on how prospects interacted with the website. Someone who downloaded a pricing guide got different follow-ups than someone who watched a demo video. Makes sense, right? Because they want different things and are at different stages of the funnel, right? So the system pulled this behavior data automatically. I don't have to manually tag or manage my lists manually. It get all streamlined within this tool. The website optimization side impressed me even more. Now we have Page Sense, which shows me essentially exactly where visitors were dropping off on landing pages. And also, you can make pretty affordable A and B tests with your websites, right? So you can essentially test whether a green or a yellow button works better, and Page Sense is very affordable in terms of how many page views it allows you to use per landing page. Now, with Sales IQ, tracks which pages led also to the most qualified sales and to the most qualified conversations. So when I made changes based on this data for an e-commerce client, their improvements automatically flowed into better lead scoring in the CRM. So the sales team knew which prospects were most likely to buy. And we're using it for our own e-commerce business, coffeeness.de, which is a big coffee brand in Germany. And PageSense works great to set up small tests and conversion optimization features. Okay, for lead capture, the combination of the forms and survey tools create something pretty elegant. I built post-purchase surveys that collected feedback, and they automatically updated custom profiles and triggered different retention campaigns based on satisfaction scores. A happy customer got invited to a referral program, while someone with concerns got priority support outreach. The event management through Backstage also impressed me. When I tested it for a conference, it handled everything from ticket sales to post-event follow-up surveys. Every attendee became a CRM contact automatically with their session attendance and networking activity, creating incredibly detailed prospect profiles for the sales teams. Okay, obviously there's social media management, right? And the tool is called Social, and it works fine for basic scheduling and publishing, though to be honest, Zoho, it's nothing revolutionary compared to dedicated platforms, right? Where it gets interesting is the integration. Social media interactions can, as you might have guessed, trigger email sequences, and social leads flow directly into the same nurturing campaigns as website visitors. Now, there's sites and landing page, and they handle the website creation side of things. They're functional, but not really groundbreaking. Think more like a practical business website rather than an award-winning Apple design homepage, right? However, every form, every page visit, every download automatically, you might have guessed it, connects to your lead nurturing system without any technical setup. So you can develop your pipeline and convert users best. What really sets this marketing suite apart is the data connectivity. Campaign performance data flows into sales forecasting. Website behavior influences lead scoring. Customer feedback shapes product development priorities. And when I compared this to managing separate tools for email marketing, social media, website analytics, A/B testing, CRM, the time savings were obviously significant, and the cost savings are significant because each of these other tools you have to pay extra, and some cost hundreds of dollars per month. Most importantly, the insights were actually actionable because everything connected to the same customer base. The downside here is that each individual tool isn't necessarily best in class. And that's a problem with one-size-fits-all solutions, right? If you need sophisticated social media analytics or cutting-edge email design capabilities, dedicated platforms might serve you better with more features. So this is something that you really need to be aware of. For most businesses that need good marketing tools that actually talk to each other and save time, which again, you save on your wallet, this integrated approach eliminates a lot of operational headaches. All this sales and marketing activity, hopefully, leads to financial transactions, which leads us to the next Zoho One category, finance. Now, I've tested a lot of accounting software over the years, from QuickBooks to FreshBooks to Xero, and what I discovered about Zoho's approach during my testing is that they didn't try to reinvent accounting. They just made it talk to everything else in your business, which is pretty easy, right? The finance suite includes books for accounting, invoice for billing, expense for expense management, checkout for payment processing. So let me paint you a picture of how this actually works. A sales rep, right, closes a deal in a CRM. Great. This then automatically creates a customer record in books with all the right tax information and payment terms. The project team starts tracking time, and when they hit a billing milestone, the invoice kicks in automatically with all the time entries, expenses, and project details already populated. The client gets a professional invoice and can pay directly through checkout, which updates their account balance in books without anyone touching a calculator. The expense management side of things impressed me as well. You can snap photos of receipts with your phone very easily, and within seconds the system extracted vendor names, amounts, and even suggested expense categories. The approval workflows meant managers could review and approve expenses during the commute, and everything flowed into books for automatic reconciliation. But what really sets this apart from traditional accounting software is the real-time visibility. When I compared it to businesses using separate systems for project management, invoicing, and accounting, the difference in cash flow management was dramatic. And instead of waiting weeks to see if a project was profitable, they could see in real time the project margins and make decisions accordingly, and that's super valuable. The payment processing through checkout eliminates the usual headaches of integrating other payment gateways with accounting systems. Clients can pay from invoices, custom payment pages, or even recurring billing setups, and everything updates automatically. No more reconciling payment processor reports with accounting records. Now, my honest assessment, though, is if you're a complex manufacturing business or need sophisticated financial reporting, dedicated platforms like NetSuite, they might suit you better, right? But for most services businesses and small companies or small startups like ourselves, this integrated approach eliminates hours of admin work while giving you better financial visibility than most expensive enterprise systems. Beyond the standard business functions, many businesses need customer processes and deeper analytics, which is where Zoho Operations apps come into play. Here, Zoho offers billing, inventory, and commerce, 3 apps that handle the more complex aspects of running a business that go beyond simple invoicing and basic sales. Now, I'll be honest, when I first looked at these apps, I thought, do we really need more billing and even more inventory tools? But after testing them for businesses with more complex operational needs, I realized these fill gaps that the basic finance apps can't handle. Zoho Billing takes over when your pricing gets a little complicated. While Invoice works great for straightforward project billing, Billing handles subscription models like usage-based pricing, complex contract terms. So when I tested it for a SaaS company with like a tiered pricing and add-on features, it automated billing scenarios that would have required a lot of custom development with other platforms. So the system handled mid-cycle upgrades, it prorated charges, and dunning management while keeping everything synchronized with the accounting system. Zoho Inventory becomes important when you're dealing with physical products across multiple locations. For example, a retail business could prevent overselling problems. The system can track stock levels in real time across all locations, automatically updating product availability on their website, and generate purchase orders when inventory hits reorder points. Zoho Commerce powers the e-commerce side of operations, and this is where the integration really shines. A customer places an order through Commerce, which checks inventory for availability, creates the appropriate billing record, updates the CRM with the purchase history, and triggers shipping workflows. So for businesses juggling multiple systems to handle these processes, the operational efficiency is super significant. The downside here is complexity. These apps, well, they aren't just basically turn on and start using. They require careful setup and understanding of your business processes. So for companies that need this level of operational sophistication, having it all integrated with your CRM, with your marketing and finance system is genuinely useful. But yeah, it takes some time to get the productivity machine flowing, right? Of course, all these business processes require people to run them. So let's look at how Zoho handles HR. The HR category includes Zoho People and Recruit, which manage the employee lifecycle from finding talent through ongoing employee management. Now, HR software can be, let's call it, pretty hit or miss for smaller companies. You either get very basic tools that don't scale, or there's like enterprise platforms that are completely overkill and expensive for most people. And Zoho Approach, luckily, falls like somewhere in between, so it blurs the line between these two a little bit. Zoho handles the core HR functions once employees are on board, are on the record, on the employee record. You can track time, you can manage the performance, and obviously also employee engagement. So during my testing, the onboarding workflows automated most of their new hire paperwork and training assignments, but What really impressed me was how employee information stayed synchronized across all the other Zoho apps. So when someone got promoted or changed departments, their access permissions and projects assignments updated automatically. I found the performance management features also, I would call it impressive. Instead of annual reviews that everyone dreads, the system enabled ongoing feedback and goal tracking that actually improved employee engagement, right? Because why do it every 6 months if you can have it on an ongoing basis? Managers could see real-time progress on employee objectives, while employees had clear visibility into their career development paths. Zoho Recruit handles the hiring side, managing everything from job posting through offer acceptance. The candidate pipeline integrates seamlessly with people, so when you hire someone, all their communication history and interview notes transfer over for onboarding. No more lost information between recruiting and HR systems. And where this really shines is the hiring to productivity workflow. A job requisition in Zoho Recruit can automatically trigger budget approvals, equipment ordering, and workspace preparation. So when the person starts their onboarding in People, creates the right access permissions, training schedules, and project assignments based on their particular role. The honest limitation is that these work best for straightforward HR needs. If you need complex compliance, reporting, or sophisticated talent management features, like dedicated HR platforms might serve you better. But for growing businesses that need good, solid HR tools integrated with their other business systems, now, this combination eliminates a lot of the administrative overhead. When your business grows beyond simple processes, you need more sophisticated workflow automation, which brings us to Zoho's business process apps. Now, I'll be upfront. These aren't plug-and-play apps either. They require some technical thinking and setup time, but when I tested them with businesses that had outgrown standard processes, the results were genuinely transformative. Zoho Creator is their low-code application builder, and it's more capable than I initially expected. For example, a manufacturing client who needs a custom quality control system that integrates with their existing processes can build it in Creator without writing traditional code. The visual builder will connect to their inventory data, create custom approval workflows, and generate compliance reports automatically. What would have been a 6 months custom development project that costs thousands and thousands of dollars, you can just take it on in about 3 weeks. Zoho Analytics turns all that business data into actual insights. The pre-built dashboard for sales, marketing, and finance are, pretty helpful, but the real power is in custom reporting that combines data from multiple sources. So, for example, a multi-location retail business can create dashboards that show real-time performance across stores, marketing channels, and product lines. Now, insights that were essentially impossible when their data lived in separate systems. Zoho Flow handles workflow automation between different apps, both within Zoho and external systems, and you can use it to automate your entire customer onboarding process. New CRM context trigger welcome emails, document generation, project creation, team notifications without any manual intervention. And this visual workflow builder makes it accessible for non-technical users, but it is surprisingly powerful. So data prep becomes essential when you're dealing with messy data from multiple sources. It could be useful for a company migrating from several legacy systems, as it can automatically identify duplicate records, it can standardize formats, and clean up data quality issues that could take weeks to fix manually. Zoho RPA takes automation even further by handling repetitive tasks that usually require human intervention. And during testing, it automated invoice processing, data entry systems that didn't integrate natively, and routine report generation. Think of it as having a digital employee handle all the boring stuff. That will be great, right? So, Zoho Log 360 Cloud provides security monitoring and threat intelligence for your IT infrastructure. A growing tech company could use this to identify potential security issues and get automated responses to common threats, and giving them enterprise-level security monitoring without enterprise-level complexity. The business process category requires basically the most technical expertise, I would say, but it really pays off investing a lot of time into learning how to deal with this. These tools can access data from every other app in the ecosystem and create automation and insights that will be much more difficult to achieve with standalone solutions. Every business deals with contracts and legal documents at some point, so let's briefly also touch on Zoho's legal app, Contracts. This app handles contract lifecycle management from creation through execution. It streamlines what's usually one of the most frustrating parts of business operations. Now, contract management might not sound exciting, but if you've ever lost a deal because contracts took too long to process, or you had to dig through email chains to find the latest version of an agreement, well, you'll appreciate what Contracts does. For example, a consulting firm can automate its entire contract workflow. Templates created in Writer could be turned into contracts with client information automatically pulled from the CRM. The system managed revisions and approvals and electronic signatures while maintaining audit trails for compliance. For businesses that deal with a lot of contracts, whether sales agreements, service contracts, or vendor agreements, having this integrated into the same system that manages your sales, that manages your projects, and basically eliminates all the admin overhead is really worth in gold. Okay, finally, let's discuss the last Zoho One category, support. Zoho Desk, Assist, and Lens form their customer support ecosystem. And this is great for a growing e-commerce business handling customer inquiries about orders, returns, and product questions. Zoho Desk handles multi-channel support well, consolidating emails, chat, phone, and social media interactions into unified customer profiles. Now, the automation rules reduced response time significantly in my testing, automating, for example, routine tickets based on keywords, based on customer priority, and also agent expertise, right? Then there is the AI assistant Zia, who suggests responses and identifies customer sentiment, though it requires training to match really your company's voice to work effectively and not sound a little bit like awkward. Zoho Assist enables remote support sessions directly from support tickets. And when testing this, technicians could access customer computers to resolve issues without separate screen sharing tools, and the integration with a desk means all remote sessions get logged automatically and will create comprehensive support histories. Zoho Lens provides support through mobile devices, and during testing, I found that it worked well for equipment troubleshooting where visual guidance matters, but adoption requires really customer education. Overall, I was most impressed with the knowledge-based functionality in Desk, with its simplicity and search capabilities, like creating self-service articles, reduced ticket volume, and the analytics showed which articles prevented the most support requests. So, after running all these tests, the big question is, who should actually think about switching to Zoho? Well, from what I've seen, Zoho makes the most sense for small to mid-sized businesses, say anywhere between 5, 10, and 100 employees. So if you're tired of juggling 5 or 6 different software subscriptions and the bills that are attached to them, this all-in-one approach can feel like a breath of fresh air. And the built-in best practices also make it easier for teams with pretty straightforward processes to just jump in and start working. I'm usually not a fan of a service that tries to do it all, but I think Zoho has done a pretty good job of developing pretty good tools overall. That said, if you're running a huge company with really complex needs, Zoho might feel too limiting, and customization is really where it falls short compared to other bigger enterprise tools, right? At the end of the day, though, this isn't really about a single app. It's about how your information across your business moves and flows through your business, and that's where Zoho Integrations really shines. It connects the dots between your sales team, support, finance, and projects. And even if it's just a one-person company, right? Even if it's all these teams, it's just you sitting there in front of the computer juggling all the balls in the air, right? Zoho can be the solution for you because it is darn cheap for what you get, right? So, is Zoho the right fit? Honestly, It comes down to your team, your needs, your tech comfort level, and how willing you are to adjust your processes to take full advantage of that seamless data flow. So are you still juggling multiple disconnected systems, or have you actually found a setup where everything works together? I'd really love to hear your experience, so drop a comment below, and if this breakdown helped you figure out whether Zoho could be a fit for your business, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll keep bringing you straight to the point software reviews that really cut through the marketing fluff. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye-bye.